Welcome to the module Syllabus and Unit Planning in this author training course. In this module, you learn about creating a student-oriented syllabus that allows them to acquire employable and life skills, as well as become a competitive university applicant, researcher, innovator, and entrepreneur. You also learn about how to create a unit plan that activates students to apply the theory, ensures active learning, many practice options, and activates their problem-solving skills, creativity, and curiosity for lifelong learning. Let's start with the definition and differentiation between syllabus and curriculum. The curriculum is the plan that a school or country has offered subjects and which topics in each subject need to be taught and what methodology is expected to be used. Empowermefirst.college's curriculum focuses on learning outcomes such as employable and life skills, skills that make students fit for their role in the community, such as social responsibility, understanding the benefits of environmental and animal protection. It also focuses on skills students need to successfully enter and complete tertiary education and be fit for future demands in society and the workplace. We have a curriculum which is based on the local curricula, IB, Cambridge, and also focuses on the needs in the countries of our activities as well as the global employment market. We especially focus on ICT skills as studying and working remotely is especially important for students who are young mothers. Also, this is an important skill to find local as well as global employment. A syllabus, on the other hand, is basically the learning plan for our students in a subject. It will guide you in your work when you plan a unit or a lesson. In your team, you might still be asked to work on a syllabus or improve the one we have based on first experience. To successfully create a syllabus, you need to consider the different curricula as well as the student needs and how your learning content is relevant to the students' lives and activates their curiosity. It helps to look at the syllabi provided by IB and Cambridge, as well as the countries. Student orientation. Yes, we have to ensure we cover all topics needed for students to pass the final exams. But it's up to us to decide how we cover them. Methodology and student orientation are key to successful learning. Once students are empowered to take ownership of their learning, they not only use and remember what they have learned more effectively, they also tend to be more focused on the result. Learning at one's own pace allows students to go over their learning content until they understood and internalized it, while quick students can go deeper and activate their natural curiosity by following up on leads and researching more on a topic online. The learning effect. This leads to a lasting learning effect, and students tend to remember longer and more without dreading learning by heart, because they start to connect what they learn to their other subjects and their lives. Another benefit is that putting students in charge of their learning leads to a mindset of empowerment, freedom of choice, and hunger for more learning, a lifelong learning attitude. When planning units, we first look at the learning objectives. Besides following the curriculum and looking at what is expected of our students at the final exam, we look at how students can relate the learning or content within their lives. As an example, when interviewing a student in Bulawayo, she proudly told me about her ICT course and how she had learned that an ATM is a computer. This fact truly amazed her and motivated her to learn more about computers, as they had become an element of her life rather than an abstract piece of machinery she had felt was too hard for her to understand. No matter how abstract a topic or subject may be, there always is a practical application. It helps us to think back to our times when we were youths ourselves. What was our experience? How did we see the world? What were our interests? Remembering this and talking to youths is a great step towards student-oriented teaching, as they teach us what they want. Today's youth are not much different, but we have a choice in the types of tools we can give them. Besides a classroom and books, there are many other sources of knowledge. There are thousands of information sites on the web on one topic alone, but not all students know which are correct. So we need to guide them into critical thinking, into discerning between fact and fiction, between science and conspiracy theory. So, besides content creation, we also have to look at a content quality and teaching different life skills as much as thinking skills. Which skills do our students need? Basically, anything that empowers them to succeed at university, in research, as entrepreneurs, in society, and in the workplace. Having these objectives in mind, think about how your subjects will help our students to succeed in these areas. Based on that, plan your unit. As an example, going back to the issue of navigating between fact and fiction in media, especially new media. Our first unit in English are looking at differentiating between factual and implicit language, but also between fictional and content and facts. Students had to analyze pictures, short texts, and were given tools at detecting the differences. This exercise will be repeated in the future and with media studies. But what other skills do students need in their lives? What skills are needed at the workplace? ICT, being able to present findings in a clear, precise, and well-structured manner, speaking fluently, communicating effectively. These and many other skills are important in English as they are in maths, the sciences, and in business. Connect the subjects in your mind, thinking of your everyday life, and most likely you will see how you can give students the right skills. Practical application. These skills will also need to be applied. When thinking of study tasks or assignments, create them in a way that allows students to apply what they have learned in many different ways, as well as making it easy on the tutors to mark them in a fair manner. For example, instead of giving them a 10-page research paper to write, ask them to do an experiment, record it, and make a 5-minute presentation to a potential sponsor. In this way, they have to apply the theory, analyze the results, communicate effectively, and practice their ICT skills while practicing skills they need in the workplace. When planning our units, we also have to see them in the context of the course. Basically, standard level has 380 learning hours in 4 semesters, meaning that the students do 90 learning hours in 20 weeks or 4 to 5 learning hours per week. This is a lot. You can really start at the very beginnings and give them enough time to apply the theory using many different skills. Give them any study tasks which they can do with their peers or share in the forum. Let the topics grow on them. Having said that, it's good to plan 3 to 5 units per semester. Within these units, plan different lessons that can be done in 1 to 3 hours. This means you have to break down your unit into different subunits or topics, each of which starts with an introductory video. Ensure that you always supply a downloadable script with the video. For the video, you can use our PowerPoint template, which you find on a drive. If we say 1 to 3 hours, this doesn't mean 3 hours of reading or presentations, but mostly a short intro and then a lesson with different tasks, be it an experiment, an observation, research, discussion questions, or many different ideas you can ever have. Provide some sample answers on the following page. Per semester, we have 3 graded assignments. Online quizzes can't count, as we can't be sure who is doing them. So we need to give them tasks like the presentation on the findings of an experiment I mentioned before. One assignment is just for one subject. The next one is interdisciplinary, like writing a report for your subject and English. The last one is a 15-minute end of semester oral test. So, collect different study questions throughout the semester and create a marking scheme to give to the tutors. Plan in a way that gives students different ways of applying what they learned. This means don't allow theoretical knowledge to exceed 30% of their study time. Cut the theory in small portions, the lessons, and make sure you start with very simple explanations and practical examples before you guide them to more complex content. For each lesson, activate them to use their curiosity about what they have learned. This can be done by letting them search for similar examples, observe what they learned in their surroundings, discuss the consequences of what they learned. Can you think of other ways? Be creative. Also, don't forget to give them the opportunity to practice with lesson quizzes. You can also create games which are especially fun ways to practice a glossary. Online learning must be student-driven. Some of you may mostly be experiencing classroom teaching. If so, You may know about the difficulty to reach the slower or less focused students while trying not to lose the quick ones. A lot of our energy and time in classroom teaching is used to keep students' attention and keep them disciplined and focused, while we never really know if every student has understood what we've been doing. Yes, we give them work to do in their groups, but when we go around, do all students really ask and tell us if they didn't understand it? Do they always know if they understood or what they still need to learn? Students are naturally curious and eager to learn, but they lose motivation if they are bored, if they have to sit still for hours and listen. Classroom teaching too often is passive learning, where students just sit, listen, and take notes. Even if they understand in the moment, at home when they are by themselves, they realize they do not really know how to actively get to the result the teacher has presented on the board. And they cannot rewind the teacher's presentation. This is demotivating, and often students only go on with the studies because they feel pressure from the family, the teacher, but in their hearts they have given up simply because they feel they don't understand the subject, which leads to frustrations and the feeling that they are not capable of learning. Their self-confidence is low, and as a result they have to pretend they don't care about school. Online learning has revolutionized the way we teach and above all the way we learn. Students are in power of their learning pace. They can watch specific parts of video lectures again until they understand. They can read the scripts while listening, and they can use learning styles that fit them most. Even more so, there's nobody to limit their natural curiosity. If there is one topic that interests them more, they can just go and explore. All we need to do is to guide them to the right sites and give them skills such as critical thinking. By giving them a lot of opportunities to test their understanding with exercises and quizzes that give them instant feedback, our students can feel confident they understood what they have learned, which boosts their self-confidence. Study tasks need to facilitate creativity, both in using their learning to create something new and in being creative in how they solve a task. For example, if you ask students in physics to record the acceleration of an object going down a slope, students become creative in searching for different objects and slides and different means of recording and presenting their results. While the students are expected to do the quizzes by themselves, in our study tasks we need to ensure that they can work with their peers, be it their friends at their centers or online via their study groups and the forum. Peers help each other to understand a topic. Those explaining can take ownership of the topics by actively understanding. Those listening will be able to understand. Both activities help their self-confidence. Also, students improve their emotional intelligence and acquire important skills for their work life. Above all, it increases creativity and their range of skills as they can discuss and try out different problem-solving methods. All of our study tasks and assignments should be within students' realities. This starts with giving gender-neutral examples. If in physics we only talk about motors and cars, this may not only be boring for girls, but it may also not be the most relevant topic for a student who lives in a rural area where most people travel on foot or by bicycle or motorbike. Yet, if we give them an assignment to build a sun collector or windmill to produce electricity or cook, they will see the use for it. While there are virtual labs and simulators, which are great for students to get an idea of what the outcome of an experiment might be, many students would have to go a long distance to access a lab of the nearest secondary school. Thus, it can be helpful to think of experiments that can be done with simple household goods. Having said that, we should bring both worlds together. The student's local reality and the global world with its opportunities. For example, if students see their parents making a small income from wood carvings, the marketing unit at Business Studies may help students to identify new products and markets and learn how to sell things online. If students see how the acquired knowledge benefits them, their families and communities, and how to gain specific knowledge with the skills they acquired, they not only learn for life, but they have entered a life of learning.